Welcome to today's lesson. In today's lesson, we are continuing with buying and selling consumer arithmetic. So we are going to look at other examples on this particular topic. So our first example would be a question that reads, when an article is sold for $15.25, a profit of 25% is made. Find the cost price. Find the cost price. So one thing that I want you to remember is cost price is always 100%. So you say cost price is equal to 100%. So if this article was sold for $15.25 and a profit of 25% was made, it means the selling price is equal to 125%. So in other words, we can say if $15.25 is equal to 125%, X is equal to 200%. So we can change it into an equation so that you have 15.25 over X is equal to 125 over 100, and you can say 25 into this, you get 4. 25 into this, you get 5. And if you do cross multiplication, $15.25 will be multiplied by 4, and 5 will be multiplied by X. And if you divide both sides by 5 into 5, 1, 5 into 15, that's 3, 5 into 2, that's 0, into 25, that's 5. So here you end up with $3.05 times 4. Here you get 20, and here you say 3 times 2, you get 12, and your answer will be $12.20. So $12.20 is the cost price, and you can see it's lower or smaller than $15.25. Okay, we're going to look at another example under depreciation. A question reads, buildings on a farm depreciate at a rate of 3% per annum. A shed worth 1,360 was built on the farm find its worth 2 years later. Okay, so now what I want you to understand about depreciation is the value is dropping. The value that you start with is the one that is dropping. So this one, we were told it's depreciating at 3% per annum. So we need to find the value after the first year. So we are saying value after after first year. So here we can subtract the 3% from 100 and then calculate 97% of 1360, but we can also find 3% of 1360 and then subtract it from 1360. So here you are saying 2 into 10, that's 5. 2 into this, that's 6, and 2 into this, that's 8. And here you can say 68 times 3, this is 24. 6 times 3, that's 18, plus 2, that's 20. So here you can say 204 divided by 5. 5 into 5, 1. 5 into 20, that's 4. 5 into 4, that's 0. And 5 into 40, that's 8, which means the value of depreciation is $40.80. $40.80. So we are going to subtract this value from 1360 to find the value after first year, minus $40.80. So here this is 0, here this is 2, here this is 9, here that's 1, 3, 1. So $1,319.20 is the value after the first year. So when it depreciates the second year, this is the starting value. This is the starting value. That's the value after first year. So the value that is depreciating now is this new value. So value after second year. So here we can calculate this one differently than the first one, because the first one we found 3% first and then we subtract it, but this one you can just find 97%, because if you find 97%, it means you have already subtracted the 3%, which is the depreciation per year. So you're finding 97% of this. So here I'm just going to bring in a calculator to just make it faster. So here I'm going to say let's find the value. The value is 1,319 $1,319.20 times 97 and you get this value, which is $127,962.40, and then you divide this value by, sorry, let's just write down that value, 127,962.40, and then you divide that by 100. So we are going to use this value, and then we divide it. Okay, so let me just rewrite that value: $127,962.40 $962.40 divided by 100. You get your value is 1,279 $1,279.624, which can be written approximately cent, which is 1,279.63 cents. 63 cents. So this is the value after 2 years of depreciation. This is the value after 2 years of depreciation. Okay, so we're going to look at another example. Okay, let's look at this example. It reads, when an article is sold, for $12.90, a loss of 7.5% is made. Find the cost price of the article to the nearest cent. So if we also put this answer to the nearest cent, this one, it will be equal to 62 here, to be equal to $1,279.62. Okay, so let's look at this one. So as I said before, cost price is always 100%. So now the selling price in this case resulted in a loss, which means if it's a loss, we are subtracting the percentage. We're subtracting the percentage from 100. So we're saying 100% minus 7.5%, which gives us 82.5. That's 82.5%. So we are saying 100. We want to find 100%. 100% is equal to X, but 82.5%, we have its value. We can write this one as 82.5. We can write this one as 82.5, which is the same as 82.5, is equal to $12.90. Is equal to $12.90. So if we change this into an equation, we are saying 100 over 82.5 is equal to X over $12.90. So if we change the divisor here into a whole number, we can do this. We can multiply both the numerator and denominator by 10, so that we move this comma on the divisor. So if we do that, it means this value becomes 1000 over 825 over 825. So we can say 1000 over 825 is equal to X. So we can calculate this one in cents, not in dollars. We just write it as 1,290 cents. So if we do cross multiplication here, we are saying 1000 is going to be multiplied to 1,290. So, and then it's divided by 825. So we can use a calculator, or we can say 5 into this, that's 1, remainder 3. 5 into 32, that's 6, remainder 2. 5 into 25, that's 5, and then you say 5 into this, that's 2 0 0. You can say 5 into this again, it's 3 remainder 1, and into this, that's 3 again, and here you can say 5 into 20, that's 4 0. So now we have 40 times 1290 over 33. So we can bring our calculator here and calculate this. So here we can say 1290 times 40 all over 33, and you get your answer is 1563. 63 6 like this. So if we are to change this to cents, we are dividing it by 100. So if we divide by 100, this one will give us $15 $636, which is equal to $15.64 to the nearest cent. To the nearest cent. Okay, so as you can see here, the cost price is now more than the selling price of $12.90, which means here we bought this thing for $15.64 and then we sold it for less, which is this one. That's how we made a loss of 7.5%. So I just want you to go through these examples. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next lesson.